Okay, let's unpack this. Um, we live in an age where managing our money online, it's just a few clicks away, right?
So convenient.
But how safe are our transactions, really? I mean, what does it actually take to build those digital walls that protect our financial lives?
Is a huge question.
Yeah. So today we're taking a deep dive into, well, the fascinating world of cybersecurity, specifically in the banking sector.
Mhm.
Our mission really is to give you a shortcut, a way to understand how financial institutions are fighting back against these constantly evolving cyber threats.
And we're focusing on a really critical area.
Exactly. Network intrusion detection systems, NIDS for short, particularly those designed for Windows-based systems used in banking.
Right. And for this deep dive, our main source, our core material, it comes from a pretty comprehensive research project.
Okay.
It's by Ayub Gadhroumaini from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. It was presented back in March 2024, and it meticulously details the development of exactly this kind of system.
Okay, so real academic research backing this up. And why should you, listening now, care about this?
Good question.
Well, if you use online banking, maybe you work in finance, or perhaps you're just curious about, the cutting edge of cybersecurity.
Then this is definitely for you.
Yeah, this deep dive is pretty essential. You're going to uncover some surprising facts, I think, and get some real practical insights into how these, well, digital fortresses are actually built, how they protect your money, your data.
Hmm.
So let's start maybe by laying out the urgent problem. Why do banks need this kind of digital shield so desperately?
Well, it really starts with the digital revolution in banking itself.
Right.
I mean, digital technologies have just completely transformed how we handle money. The customer access, the convenience, it's unprecedented.
Totally. But that convenience.
That's the catch. You're absolutely right. That very convenience, it introduces some profound vulnerabilities.
Mm-hmm.
The banking sector, because it's so interconnected and holds such just vast amounts of sensitive financial data, it's become a prime target for cyber criminals. Banks are facing this constant barrage of threats.
Everything from hacking to phishing scams.
Sophisticated ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Targeted stuff.
And it's not just the bank's own systems anymore, is it? It's about how we connect.
That's a critical point. The shift towards remote banking, everyone doing things from home, it's dramatically widened what we call the attack surface.
Right.
Even our home networking systems, your home Wi-Fi, they can become potential entry points for these threats. Your living room is suddenly on the front line.
Wow. And are there numbers to back this up?
Oh, yeah. The statistics really drive it home. According to the Identity Theft Resource Center, just in 2023, over 1,100 data breaches were reported in the banking and financial sector.
Over 1,100.
Yeah, exposing millions of sensitive records. And to put a dollar figure on it, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, estimated over $1.9 billion in identity theft losses in 2022.
Billion. With a B.
With a B.
Yeah.
And unauthorized access to home networks was a significant contributor to that.
That's just staggering. But the impact, it goes beyond just the financial losses, doesn't it?
It really does, way beyond. I mean, obviously, there's the immediate financial hit. But for the banks, think about the severe reputational damage, the legal liabilities, the intense regulatory scrutiny they face.
Right.
And maybe most critically, it erodes public trust, confidence in online banking systems.
And if people lose trust,
they might shy away from digital transactions altogether. That can lead to financial exclusion, which is a whole other problem. So, yeah, maintaining public confidence in the entire financial ecosystem is just paramount.
the surprising insight there, for me anyway, isn't just the volume of attacks, but how central our home networks have become in this whole picture.
It's the new digital frontier for these criminals, unfortunately.
Okay, so the problem is clear. It's urgent. Now, the big question: what kind of digital shield are banks building? Let's get into the solution proposed in this research.
Right. So the research project introduces a robust network intrusion detection system, an NIDS, and it's specifically tailored for the banking sector, really focusing on preventing that unauthorized access, particularly through Windows-based home networking systems.
And you mentioned it uses something called Snort.
Yeah, what's particularly interesting here is its use of Snort. It's an open source NIDS.
Open source, so not some secret bank tech.
Exactly. The research highlights Snort's advantages over maybe more traditional IDS prototypes. It has advanced features for really comprehensive monitoring, analysis of network traffic.
So the key takeaway there is kind of interesting. Cutting-edge bank security isn't always about super secret, expensive, proprietary tech. Sometimes it's about cleverly using powerful open-source tools.
Precisely. Leveraging tools like Snort to build a smart, adaptable sentinel.
Okay, so this isn't just putting up a digital fence. It's more like building a smart, adaptable guard, a sentinel that can spot trouble in, what, milliseconds?
It's the goal, yes.
But what does that sentinel do, like specifically?
Okay, so at its core, it provides real-time network traffic monitoring and immediate threat alerts.
Real time is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was developed using Python, which is a very versatile language, and object-oriented programming principles.
Object-oriented.
Right.
That means building it in reusable blocks, kind of like Legos, makes it flexible.
Exactly like Legos, yeah. Highly flexible, modular, easier to update and maintain.
And the research emphasized practicality, which sounds absolutely crucial for a real bank.
Oh, definitely. You need something that works in the real world, not just in a lab.
Right. So things like scalability, it has to handle millions of transactions, grow with the bank, flexibility, adapt to new threats as they pop up, and maybe critically, ease of use. It needs to be manageable for busy IT teams, right? User-friendly interfaces, maybe automated tools.
Yeah, automated configuration tools were part of the design. Make deployment and management easier.
And it goes beyond just the tech, doesn't it? The research mentioned socioeconomic factors.
It did. The solution also aims to address those broader implications, things like customer trust. By making online banking demonstrably safer, you foster that trust. And that's essential for everyone, especially people who might otherwise be hesitant about digital banking. It promotes financial inclusion.
Okay. It's one thing to say build a smart sentinel, but how do you actually make it smart? How do you give a system that kind of intelligence?
Right. It's not magic. It stands on some pretty sophisticated theoretical frameworks.
Okay, let's dig into that. The underlying science that makes this NIDS potentially so powerful.
Indeed. These frameworks are critical. One major pillar is machine learning theory.
Machine learning. Okay. You can think of that as the smart detector part.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. The smart detector.
The concept is just fascinating. ML lets computers learn from data, right? Spot patterns, detect weird behavior that might signal an attack.
Exactly. And crucially, it's good at spotting novel threats, those zero-day attacks.
0 day. The ones that are brand new that nobody has a defense for yet.
Precisely. The ones that traditional signature-based methods, which look for known patterns, might completely miss.
And is there research showing this actually works?
There is.
Yeah.
For example, Ahmad and colleagues in 2023, they showed ML-based IDS had higher detection rates and, importantly, lower false positive rates compared to the older methods, specifically for zero-day attacks.
Pure false alarms. That's good.
Very good. And another study, Othman in 2021, demonstrated that deep learning techniques, things like convolutional neural networks, RNNs, they actually outperform traditional ML in spotting really complex, evolving threats.
Okay, but with cutting-edge tech, there are always challenges, right? What are the hurdles here?
You're right. There are definitely challenges. One is the need for huge, diverse data sets to train these models properly. The model needs to see lots of different traffic, good and bad.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Pretty much. They can also be susceptible to what are called adversarial attacks.
Where attackers try to trick the AI.
Yeah, subtly alter their attack methods to slip past the detection. And then there's the ongoing challenge of interpretability, understanding why the ML model flags something. That's crucial for responding effectively.
Okay, so machine learning is the smart detector. What else is under the hood, theoretically speaking?
Another powerful framework they drew on is game theory.
Game theory. I like to think of that as the strategic mind.
That's a great analogy. It's a mathematical framework, really, for analyzing strategic interactions. In this case, between attackers and defenders. Rational decision makers on both sides.
So it helps banks figure out the best defense strategy by anticipating the attacker's moves.
Essentially, yes. It helps optimize defense strategies.
So it's like this high-stakes chess match, constantly trying to outmaneuver the opponent. But does it help predict, say, what kind of attack might come next, or is it more about how to react generally?
That's a really good question. It's probably more about optimizing the reaction and how you allocate your defense resources. But it definitely informs threat intelligence by modeling potential attack paths and attacker motivations. There's research here too. Gregorian and Collins used it to model cyber attacks and defense back in 2021. Hahn and others used it in 2023 specifically for analyzing denial of service attacks.
DOS attacks, right.
And Pollock and Zhu, also in 2021, applied it to optimizing how you allocate resources for cybersecurity generally.
Are there limitations, though? Does game theory capture everything?
Not quite. A lot of the current research, it tends to focus on very specific threats, and it often lacks empirical testing in real complex banking networks.
Real world is messy.
Very messy. And sometimes these models overlook important socioeconomic factors that influence behavior, things like regulations or just the bank's internal culture, which can affect decisions.
Okay, so we have the smart detector, ML, and the strategic mind, game theory. What about just building a really strong fortress? Is there a theory for that?
Absolutely. That brings us to defense in depth theory, DID.
Defense in depth.
It's a core cybersecurity strategy. The idea is simple. You deploy multiple layers of defense mechanisms. You acknowledge that no single defense, no matter how strong, is foolproof.
So you don't rely on just one thing.
Exactly. And the NIDS we're discussing fits right into this. It's a crucial component, often acting as an early warning system within those layers.
Makes sense. There was a good example in the research, Williams and others in 2021. They found that combining layers like firewalls, antivirus, and an IDS significantly reduced successful attacks, specifically on home networks.
Yeah, that's a key finding. The insight is you don't just rely on one strong lock. You need multiple interdependent security measures working together.
Like layers of an onion, maybe.
Sort of, yeah. But this also highlights a practical challenge, tying back to ML. How do banks ensure their training data truly reflects the complexity of real traffic? That's tough. And also research specifically on implementing DAD within the banking sector itself, well, it's somewhat limited. There's probably a need for more holistic approaches integrating technical, procedural, even physical controls.
Okay, so these are the big ideas. ML, game theory, defense in depth. How does all that theory translate into actually, building the system? It sounds like constructing a complex building. Every piece has to fit.
It is complex. The development methodology they used was an iterative model.
Iterative, meaning they built it in cycles.
Exactly. Planning, analysis, design, implementation, testing, evaluation, then a repeat. It allows for continuous refinement and adaptation as you go.
And they started with feasibility, making sure it was even possible and practical.
Yes. A promising feasibility study looked at technical aspects, economic, market, operational, the whole picture. And critically, they collected primary data using questionnaires. They went to equity banks in Kenya and also small businesses.
Why small businesses too?
To ensure the system could handle real-world needs and typical network environments outside of just large banks, to make sure it reflects genuine scenarios.
Smart. And the system design itself, what did that look like?
Pretty robust. They used a hybrid architecture combining client-server and end-tier models.
Okay, break that down.
Sure. The client-server part allows easy access through a web browser, which is user-friendly. The end-tier part compartmentalizes the system into distinct layers, presentation, logic, data. That makes it easier to maintain and scale up later.
Got it. And they use that object-oriented design again?
Yes, for modular, scalable code, like those Lego bricks we talked about. They also used process-oriented and data-oriented designs to make sure workflows were efficient and data was handled robustly. Key components included things like the network monitor, the alert manager, the traffic analyzer, each doing its specific job.
And the data flow, how does information move through it?
It's meticulous. Starts with decoding the network packets, pre-processing the data, then the actual intrusion detection happens. After that, logging everything and sending out alerts if needed. And something really important for efficiency, database normalization.
Normalization, making the database tidy.
Essentially, yes. Organizing the data to reduce redundancy, improve integrity. It ensures you can store intrusion data efficiently and retrieve it quickly when you need it.
Okay, so you've designed it, you've built it based on these theories. Now you have to make sure it actually works under pressure. How did they test this NIDS?
The testing was really rigorous, comprehensive. It started with unit testing.
Testing the individual pieces.
Oh, exactly. Components like the packet decoder or the detection engine were tested in isolation, often using mock data, making sure each individual brick is solid before you build the wall.
Okay, makes sense. What's next?
Then integration testing. This focused on how the different modules, the different components, interacted with each other, ensuring data flowed seamlessly between them, making sure the bricks connect perfectly.
Right. Checking the mortar, basically.
Good analogy. Then came performance testing. This is where they really pushed it.
Stress tests, load tests.
Yep. To ensure the system could handle high traffic volumes, peak loads without falling over or slowing down too much. Find the breaking point.
Crucial for a bank system. And of course, security testing.
Absolutely vital. They simulated various cyber attack scenarios, things like denial of service attacks trying to overwhelm the system,
Right.
SQL injection, sneaking malicious code into database commands, cross-site scripting, injecting bad scripts into web pages.
Trying to break in, basically.
Exactly. Assessing its detection accuracy and how well it responded.
And there was one more type.
Yes, user acceptance testing, or UAT. This involved real users.
The actual bank staff.
Network administrators, even some lay users, they provided invaluable feedback on usability, how clear the interface was, how easy it was to manage alerts. The thoroughness of all this testing, especially the performance and security tests with simulated attacks, it directly addresses that need for assurance. Proof that the solution is robust and reliable enough for the real world.
And did all this testing actually lead to changes? What was the impact?
Oh, definitely. It led to significant refinements. For instance, performance testing might have revealed bottlenecks.
There's spots.
Right, which led to optimizing database queries to handle high loads better. Security testing helped fine-tune the intrusion detection rules to reduce false positives.
Those annoying alerts for things that aren't actually threats.
Exactly. Fewer false alarms mean staff can focus on real threats. And that UHE feedback, it resulted in real improvements to the user interface, making it genuinely easier for bank staff to use effectively day to day.
That's quite a journey. From theory to tested application. But, no project is perfect. Every journey has its bumps. What were some of the realities, the limitations they faced?
Yeah, they acknowledged several challenges, which gives a realistic view. One was skill set constraints.
Meaning they didn't have deep experts in every single advanced area.
Right, lack of deeper expertise in some specific advanced cybersecurity fields. Budgetary constraints were another factor.
Money always matters.
It impacts acquiring maybe more advanced tools, proprietary technologies, which ties into tool availability. They relied heavily on open source tools like Sonortai.
Which are great, but maybe not always.
Exactly. Cost-effective, powerful in many ways, but sometimes lacking certain features or the robustness of commercial proprietary systems.
So they had to be clever, build smart within those constraints.
Precisely. Another limitation was the testing environment itself. However well you design it, a controlled lab environment,
It isn't the real world.
it just can't fully replicate the sheer complexity, the unpredictability of real-world network traffic. So that potentially affects how well the findings generalize to every single scenario out there.
And time, I imagine. Time constraints always play a role.
Implicitly, yes. Tight timelines can always force trade-offs, maybe in the depth of research you can do or how extensively you can test every possibility.
Okay. So what does this all mean for you, the person banking online? It means that behind that secure transaction you just made, there's this complex, constantly evolving battle being fought, driven by innovative research like this and requiring constant refinement. And the research project, it didn't just stop there, right? It concluded with recommendations for the future.
It did. Very important forward-looking recommendations for continually strengthening this NIDS.
Like what?
Well, a key one is integrating more advanced machine learning algorithms. Enabling this system to be self-learning, to adapt automatically as threats evolve, is a big step towards proactive defense.
Getting ahead of the attackers.
Trying to, yes. Also, embracing regular system updates and patch management. You have to keep the threat definitions current.
Basic cyber hygiene, but crucial.
Absolutely. And enhancing user training and awareness programs, both for bank employees and for customers.
We play a role too.
A huge role. Recognizing phishing emails, using strong, unique passwords, understanding secure practices, that's vital. Even the best tech needs smart users.
What else?
They also recommend performing comprehensive security audits and penetration testing, but by independent experts, getting that external validation.
Fresh eyes.
Exactly. Implementing multi-factor authentication, MFA, wherever possible for stronger user authentication, and regularly reviewing and updating the actual security policies themselves to make sure they stay relevant and effective against whatever new threats emerge.
Wow. Okay. So this deep dive, hopefully it's given you listening a detailed but also, I hope, accessible understanding of these network intrusion detection systems, what they are, the theories driving them, and how they're actually put into practice, tested, and improved in the banking world.
Yeah.
So maybe next time you log into your bank account online, just consider this. In a world of ever smarter cyber threats, how much more secure could our digital lives become if every piece of software, and maybe every one of us users, became a kind of self-learning defender?
That's a provocative thought.
Because you really do play a crucial role in this whole security chain. It's not just relying on these amazing, complex systems the banks build.
Yeah.
Maybe you might even want to look up a bit more about snorters, see what that open source tool does, or read about defense in depth, see just how deep this rabbit hole goes.